I think we're live. Let's see. Are we live? Anybody? Sam Fountain's here. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Good catch. I just changed the title. It is week 6, not week 4 like I had it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo. And let's go ahead and talk about Tyrod Taylor in tonight's live stream. That's the goal. We're going to go through the film. We did this a couple weeks ago, broke down Daniel Jones's film after the Seahawks game. We're going to do the same thing tonight, breaking down every play from Tyrod Taylor's performance in week 6 against the Buffalo Bills. So that's the plan. I'm going to tweet this live stream out real quick, guys, and then we're going to go ahead and dive into it. How is everybody doing? Comment down below what you're thinking about our New York Giants currently. How are you all feeling about this disaster of a team? Ali says T-Money time. I assume that means Tyrod, but it could be Tony. Could be me. I could be T-Money. Comment down below if I am T-Money. All right. Pretty inactive chat tonight, guys. Where's the hellos? Where's the warm welcomes? I'm feeling lonely now. Need to hear somebody say something. Where is everybody? I know some of you are viewing. Just give me a like and a comment. Tyrod is Team Money, not me. That's a shame. Miguel, how are you? Good to see you. What's up? Man Ray said, hey, what's going on? Cameron Simpson says, yes, sir. Cameron, I know you're a big Tyrod Taylor fan. Stay tuned. We're going to break down the film on Tyrod Taylor, your favorite player. What's up? Big win this weekend, Michael asks. I don't know, man. I think that Washington has a really good defense. They've got a good running game. It's going to be a tough one for sure. Hey, New York Giants fan. What's up, everybody? Glad that we're all tuning in and getting ready to look at some film. I'm going to pull this game up, then we can go ahead and dive in. Once I figure out how to pull the game up. That would be helpful. Primo says, what's up? What's up, Primo? Anybody have any idea how to work NFL Plus? This is out of hand. I don't even know. Oh, replays. There it is. I got it, guys. I figured it out. What are some of your Giants questions? See Justin Pugh. Justin Pugh was signed to the active roster. Pretty big deal, I think. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a starter, but in the meantime, while we still have some injuries, he can start. But long term, I think Justin Pugh is going to be a nice backup for the New York Giants. Maybe as an eventual starter. I don't know. It's tough to ask that much of him. He's still coming off of a pretty gruesome knee injury. So we shall see. We shall see. It'll be interesting to see. And what Giants fan says, now we need La'el Collins. La'el Collins would be a nice signing. I don't know if that happens, but it'd definitely be interesting to see it happen. Definitely would be. Do we sign Collins? Do we sign La'el Collins? I think that's an interesting question because I think the Giants would like to, but they don't have a whole lot of cap space, and they just signed Justin Pugh. So I think they're probably going to roll with what they've got. You got to keep in mind, guys, Andrew Thomas should be back in the next 2 weeks. John Michael Schmitz should be back in the next 2 weeks. So you get 2 of your starters back there. And then you're talking about an offensive line that is Andrew Thomas at left tackle, probably Justin Pugh at left guard, center John Michael Schmitz, and right guard Ben Bredesen. And then you just stick it out with Evan Neal probably. I don't think it's necessary for the Giants to go after La'el Collins. While would I like them to? Yeah, I think he would be a good addition to the team. I think that he would be a really, really good upgrade over the performance of Evan Neal. But I don't think the Giants are ready to give up on Evan Neal. So I don't think it's a move that's going to happen. I just think that it's a move that makes sense, but there's going to be competition for La'el Collins. There's going to be a lot of teams that want him. But yeah, and my Giants fan, Thomas, Pugh, JMS, Bredesen, and Neal. It's a much better offensive line than the one that the Giants were going out with in week 1, just because you have Mark Lewinsky out of the lineup and Justin Pugh in. I think that it makes a big upgrade. And then when you're looking at the lineups that we've had the last few weeks with Azito in there, McKethan in there, listen, those guys are young. I'm not giving up on them. I still think they can develop into something. But right now, I don't think that they're capable of starting these NFL games that they've been starting. So it's good to see that the Giants made a move, got Justin Pugh on the active roster, and he's going to be taking away some of those snaps from some of those other guys who have been struggling. James Hollister with an interesting comment here. He thinks Carson Wentz would have been better for us. I don't agree with that. I think Carson Wentz is another one of those quarterbacks that fails to read the field. And my biggest gripe with Daniel Jones is his field vision has been pretty poor this season. He hasn't been going through his progressions, hasn't been throwing with anticipation. Those are the flaws that Tyrod Taylor, I think, has as strengths, and Carson Wentz has those as flaws. So if you wanted more of the same mundane offense with a lack of scoring, yeah, go with Carson Wentz. But in my opinion, and I know there was still a lack of scoring with the Giants this past week, even though Tyrod was in there, but he did a good job of moving the ball downfield. 2 plays would have equated to 14 points, 2 plays squandered, obviously, but if Tyrod gets the chance to start this upcoming week against Washington, I do expect the Giants to at least get a touchdown or 2 in this game. I think that he moved the ball really well, kept the ball out of harm's way. I don't think Carson Wentz would keep the ball out of harm's way. I think he would probably throw 3 interceptions in that game versus Buffalo. So that's my take on that. But all right, I guess we can go ahead and dive into this Tyrod Taylor film here. Let's see. Another comment about Carson Wentz, I believe. Wentz sees it way better and will take chances. You don't beat 27-7 without seeing field. Look at his Colts tape. I didn't think his Colts tape was super impressive. This is just a difference in opinion here, though. I mean, Carson Wentz, he's not getting looks around the NFL. No teams are interested in him. So I think, it's probably the popular opinion that Carson Wentz is pretty washed up. I would like to see him succeed elsewhere, but I just don't think that place is with the New York Giants. If Jones can't go for a while, start Tyrod and some games, Tommy DeVito to see what he can do. I don't think that Tommy DeVito is going to get any playing time. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be out long enough for Tommy DeVito to get into the lineup. And Tyrod Taylor played good football. You're not just going to bench him to see what you have in Tommy DeVito. One of the worst things you can do to a young quarterback like that is to throw them into the starting lineup and ruin their confidence. And Tommy DeVito is still developing. Long-term, his ceiling is probably a QB2 on this team. Why go out there, ruin his confidence so he's never able to reach his potential at a QB2? I don't see the point. I think that Tyrod Taylor is playing good football, and you just keep rocking with him until Daniel Jones is healthy, and maybe even after Daniel Jones is healthy, but we'll talk about that. Did Dable yelling at Tyrod bother you? It bothered the Happy Huntsman. No, it didn't necessarily bother me. Brian Dable's an intense guy, and players respond to Brian Dable. Historically, like we all know that players love Brian Dable. When we interviewed Bobby Okereke on the channel, he said he signed with the Giants, and one of the primary reasons why was Brian Dable. He wanted to play under him. He said that he spoke to friends that he had in Buffalo and around the league, and they all said, go to the Giants because Brian Dable is there. So I'm not bothered by it. Maybe it's something worth monitoring. Dable's had a few sideline outbursts this season, and they haven't been pretty. So hopefully he's able to keep his cool, keep his temper in check, and not, get himself caught into any media storms. But no, I'm not necessarily bothered by Dable yelling at Tyrod. I think we were all yelling at Tyrod from our couches, and Tyrod deserved to be yelled at for that mistake that he made. So it's just about learning and getting better. You guys got to keep in mind, Tyrod Taylor hasn't started a football game in like 3 years. So considering that was like the one huge mistake that he made, yeah, it was a costly one. But he didn't turn the ball over, and he didn't make a lot of mistakes in that game. He still played pretty efficiently. So, Cameron, congrats on Div 5. And I agree. Tyrod is showing his worth. Listen, the Giants have made him one of the highest paid backup quarterbacks in the NFL, and it's for a good reason. He is a high-paid backup because he is a good backup, because he probably could start for a few NFL teams. He's a good player. He's just not a player that's going to push you into the playoffs or through the playoffs. So you don't want to make him your starter because you want to bank on upside, which is what the Giants are doing with Daniel Jones. They're banking on upside. Jones is only in his 5th season. He's shown flashes. If you put the right pieces around him, maybe he can propel this team further. But with Tyrod, you kind of know what you're getting, and you're not getting that next level play. But then again, a lot of people said that about Geno Smith, and now Geno Smith is a very solid starter for the Seattle Seahawks. So don't rule out Tyrod maybe having a Geno moment. I guess it's possible. Hollister, yeah, Brian Dable is always mad. Much better to have Tyrod with this O-line than Jones. That's something that I think I'm starting to agree with, and we're going to go ahead and break into the film to discuss that point even further because I think it's a really good point to make. Tyrod Taylor has really good pocket vision, and he's very, very good at mitigating pressure, which is what I want to really break down on this breakdown. So let's go ahead and do that here. Got the screen pulled up. Let me fix the backgrounds for us all. Nope, not that one. There we go. Daniel Jones needs to see the field better. I don't know why why they're not coaching him better and working on leverages and anticipation. It's one of those tricky things, anticipation, field vision. It's tough to coach that. If you look throughout the NFL and you see young quarterbacks who struggle with that trait in particular, a lot of them don't ever end up fixing it because it's really difficult to fix. You can fix a lot of things, but if you really just can't read the field and you are a one read quarterback, so to speak, which is what a lot of people call Daniel Jones, it's kind of reminiscent of Mitchell Trubisky, who was a one read quarterback and never found success in the NFL. And to be fair, a lot of analysts who didn't like Daniel Jones coming out compared him to Mitchell Trubisky. So our worst case scenario of him becoming Mitchell Trubisky, maybe it's coming true, maybe it's not. Listen, Jones comes back from this injury. Maybe he needs the mental hiatus. He comes back full strength. It's possible. All right. Two more questions and then we'll dive into the film. Do we tank the rest of the games, get a QB, or try to get that last playoff spot? I think neither. You try and win as many games as you can, but you start benching players that you know are going to help you win games. You take them out of lineup, you put youth in there. If the youth plays great and they win your games, great. But obviously the youth is going to struggle, but they need the experience. So you're probably going to lose those games. And when you start losing, yeah, you put yourself in better position to draft highly. But I don't think you necessarily try to lose. You don't tank, but you don't necessarily go out there and put your best players on the field at all times. You put your players out there that you want to develop and you hope for the best. I think that's what the Giants are going to want to do. We should have Hyatt running the fades that they throw to Slayton because Slayton can't catch. Slayton can catch. His hands have been phenomenal this season. That was a great pass breakup. It wasn't a drop. The catch that you're referring to in week 6 was broken out of his hands. Slayton has been constantly wide open this season, and Daniel Jones has not been throwing him the ball. I will die on that hill. Darius Slayton has been a phenomenal player for them. Yeah, Jalen Hyatt also should be getting more playing time and running the fades, but they can both run fades. You get 2 fades out there, you stretch the defense. They should both be running deep routes, I think. So, all right, let's break into this film though, guys. I still don't have the telestrator set up. I'm getting that set up for next week's live stream when I do another film breakdown, and we'll go ahead and have me drawing on the screen and all that, putting routes on there. It'll be cool stuff. I think it'll work out well. But for now, we're just going to have to live with this subpar quality, I know. But let's go ahead and break into this film right away. All right, first play, little play action. And so let's go back and rewind this play, and I'll show you what I see immediately. First of all, I like this play design. I like the pre-snap motion. Get somebody out into the flat, fake it to Saquon. You know the defense is keying in on Saquon. You see all 3 of these guys keying in on Saquon and following him. Then the play action is over, and look, they're out of position a little bit. So what you want here is you want Darren Waller on the over route. You're not going to get it because this guy's playing his zone pretty well, but this is what I'm talking about with reading the field, because you're going to see here Tyrod does go through all of his reads. He's got 1, and he's staring down Waller, and he recognizes now he's looking here. Waller's not going to be open. Okay, let's take this next read. Okay, there's safety help over the top. This is a double team, which means if I turn to the flat route is going to be open, and he just throws it to the flat. So there's the anatomy of that play. That's why they picked up those yards, and it really is just about going through progressions. You could see Tyrod Taylor go through 3 progressions on that one play, which I think he's a 10-year NFL veteran. Like, he's been in the league for over a decade. He should be able to do this stuff, and he does do this stuff, and I think it's worth giving him credit for doing it, for going through the progressions and not being a one-read quarterback. Saquon Barkley, handoff. I thought Saquon played well. You could tell that he was still injured a little bit. Wow, you guys see how he got knocked on his ass here? Holy crap. It's not easy to make Saquon Barkley fall backwards like that. And it wasn't even a defender who did it. He ran into Josh Azedo. Damn. Football is a violent sport, guys. Let's see this next play. Loaded backfield. The Giants have run that formation and that play multiple times this season, and I don't think it's worked a single time. It's time to take that one out of the playbook, Mike Kafka. All right, and there you go. Now they're punting. Classic New York Giants football, right? All right, let's see. Okay, so now we're back to, oh, this is the forced fumble. Great play by Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. All right, more pre-snap motion. Love that. Think Dable and Kafka did a good job with the pre-snap motion in this game. You see nobody following him along the line of scrimmage, so it's telling you this is a zone coverage. So now let's see another little play action here. Love that the Giants were utilizing some play action and rolling. Oh, this is actually a handoff. Play action, not a play action. I was fooled. Good job by Tyrod, I guess. All right, here you got play action. Looks like they actually messed up the play action there a little bit. But here's one of these great examples that I want to talk about. And Michael Iyer just said he looked better than Jones. Think Tyrod Taylor looked better than Jones? I'll say on this play in particular, this highlights a weakness of Daniel Jones and a strength of Tyrod Taylor's. So you're going to have the rollout here, and nothing's open. They've got it covered. You're not going to get this deep shot to Hyatt. He's blanketed. You could throw it here real quick, but they're breaking down on it. Saquon's drifting upfield. It's a tough throw. And so by the time Tyrod sees maybe you could get it to Saquon, it's too late. He just throws it out of bounds. But look at how much space is between him and the defender when he's throwing it out of bounds. How many times this season have we seen Daniel Jones get to about here, this deep on the sideline before throwing it out of bounds, or dumping it to this player who then gets hit and a lot of chaos? I mean, week one, the Stephon Gilmore interception. We've seen Daniel Jones do it a few times. Even last week against Miami, he was rolling left. He could have just thrown the ball away. He ended up getting sacked because he was tackled on a scramble 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but all he had to do was throw it away. So this is just one of those key differences where we're talking about Daniel Jones is constantly under pressure, constantly taking hits. He invites a lot of that contact, and Tyrod Taylor doesn't. I mean, look at this play. Nothing's open. Throw it out of bounds, live to see another play. He didn't take a hit there. He got shoved in the back, and that's fine. And I just think that's one of those key differences here from what we've seen from Daniel Jones this season, where he struggled and where Tyrod Taylor is just never going to struggle with something like that because he's very smart and very good at protecting his body. Okay, next play. That's a pretty good pocket, and it's a great throw to Darius Slayton. I mean, you can't throw it better than that. That is a perfect ball in stride with a lot of touch. This is something that Alex mentioned on the recap and reaction episode a few days ago. He mentioned how Daniel Jones oftentimes kind of beams them in there, doesn't have that touch, those touch passes on the throws. And I think Tyrod Taylor has really good touch on his passes. And I think that shows up here because you just got slot fade here with Slayton. You see the single high look. And I think it's even man. Yeah, I think it's cover one man, and you just want to take, you're going to have all of this real estate, but you don't want to throw it too far here. You don't want to throw it too far inside with the safety. You just want to put a nice touch pass up there for Slayton to run underneath. Look at that. That's throwing with anticipation. That's knowing that this is going to be open before it is, because this is not open yet. Darius Slayton is not open here, but this is throwing with the anticipation. This is one of the things that Daniel Jones has been criticized for because he hasn't been throwing with anticipation. He wouldn't throw this. He would wait until Slayton's about here. Then he would throw it, and then it's underthrown and it's too late. But this is just quick. Get it and throw because you know the coverage look and you know it's going to be open. If you guys tuned into the week 4 breakdown when I did Daniel Jones's film against the Seattle Seahawks, I mentioned how there were certain plays where Jones should just catch the snap and just know where to go with it and just throw it without looking to see if somebody's open. That's what Tyrod just did here. He just caught it and he threw it because he knew the coverage look. Daniel Jones just needs to know the coverage look and make those throws. But again, credit to Tyrod Taylor. I'm not trying to do this film breakdown just to bash Jones. I really do just want to highlight how well Tyrod Taylor played because this was a very impressive performance, and that was a great throw. A nice touch pass down the right sideline for a huge gain to Darius Slayton. A little wildcat with Saquon. I think that they should do the wildcat a little more often. Saquon should have cut left there. He probably would have had more rushing room. Maybe not. I don't know. The offensive line was a disaster run blocking for most of this game. I will say that. All right. I like that Hyatt was a lot more involved in the game plan this week. Hopefully they continue to up his playing time. This is smart. Just leave him there as your emergency route, just your little flat route. Wandale is open here. I think that's where the ball goes. It is. Great job by Wandale in this game. The kid just knows how to find those pockets in the zones, right? I mean, he's really good at that. Let's see. So I'm going to just, not trying to overdo this, but I do want to just highlight here. Let's look at Tyrod, his eyes, okay? And then when this ball is snapped, quick snap. All right, let's look at this read. But let's quickly, did you guys see him snap his head? Take a look at the other read. Now he noticed, I got to get this ball out quick. Gets it out on time. Pressure doesn't affect the throw. He doesn't get hit. Again, when we've been watching Daniel Jones this season, we've seen him take hits on throws like this, or not even get the ball out of his hands on throws like this, because he would look here, see Poyer on the blitz, try to outrun him, go up this way, go up that way, or just turtle the ball. Tyrod Taylor takes a look at the blitzer, just goes back to his read and makes the throw. It's a good throw. Hand off to Saquon, and they're right in the frickin' backfield once again. All right, next play, toss to Saquon. Like I said, guys, the run blocking was really poor in this game from the Giants offensive line. Play action. You're in the red zone here. You really want to get some points. This is one I think Tyrod probably could have waited on a little bit more and thrown this thing to Hodgins. Maybe Hodgins turns upfield. But he does a good job trying. He didn't. He got sacked. I mean, it happens, right? But I will say, I think that this ball should have gone to Hodgins right here. I think he was looking at Bellinger. He didn't feel comfortable making the throw, but this should have went to Hodgins. So I missed a read there for sure. Oof, he took a pretty hard hit there at the end. All right, next play, Wan'Dale Robinson's in motion, back in motion again. Pitch out to Saquon, and there is just nowhere to go. Saquon makes something out of it, though. Really impressive stuff by Saquon. Bounce off of people and fall forward for some yardage. Oops. Take a look at this next play. False start on Justin Pugh. Justin Pugh said after the game that he was guessing a lot of times on the snap count because he still doesn't know the playbook, so you really can't be too upset with him for that. Screenplay gets blown up. The Giants don't have enough athleticism on their offensive line to block on plays like this. And Giants get 3 points. Can't score in the red zone. Who got that pressure? I'd be curious to see that real quick before we go back to the Tyrod. Leonard Williams. Nice. Good play. What do you all think about Leonard Williams? Keep him, cut him, release him, trade him? Let me know. All right, next play. Tyrod Taylor. I mean, this blocking is just atrocious in the running game. I know people are saying Saquon had a great game. It's amazing that he was able to have a great game because the run blocking was so poor in this game. He finds a few yards there. Once again, not much. All right. Go to the next drive. Here we go. Tyrod play action. Nothing's open. All right, this is the play, guys. This is the dime of all dimes from Tyrod Taylor. This was just such a good throw. I'm like salivating over this fucking play. Sorry, watch. Excuse my language. So you're gonna see here play action pass. What they're doing here is they're running the deep post against the single high safety, which basically it forces the safety to get out of position. The safety is no matter what going to have to get out of position because this is coming across the formation and the safety is on this side of the hash. So this is where, if there wasn't pressure, you kind of just stand in the pocket and you launch it out here and you hope that your receiver can take it and run upfield. But pressure comes. And what I love here is what we see a lot of the times, Daniel Jones will just tuck and run this thing and try and get to the sideline. What I love about what Tyrod Taylor does here, his eyes are always downfield. His hips are always square with the target, which is the crucial part of making this throw. Your hips have to be square with the target. He keeps them square, and he just puts a freaking rope out there. This is a laser. You can't ask for much better here. This is a perfect throw from Tyrod Taylor. Now, I know it didn't count. There was a ghost call here on Evan Neal. I think it's a really bad call, like a really horrible call. But just look at the throw from that angle, too. I mean, across his body, so impressive. And also a great catch by Jalen Hyatt. This is how you got to start using Jalen Hyatt. Get him more involved with the game plan on plays like this. But again, I just really like the pressure comes. He bails on the pocket, does the right thing, but his eyes stay downfield. He's not looking at the open space where to run to. He's looking at the open receiver. And look at this freaking throw. He's in the Michael Jordan pose. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful play there. When the play breaks down, sometimes your quarterback has to make the play. Tyrod Taylor did a really good job of that on that rep. Another false start on Justin Pugh again. I can't blame Justin Pugh for these penalties. He didn't know the game plan. He didn't know the snap count. The Giants said that they were expecting to play Justin Pugh for 25 snaps, and they played him for 77. That's insane. Not his fault that he had a few mistakes in there, guys. It really isn't. Low snap, picks it up off the ground. That's a bad throw by Tyrod Taylor. That's a miss. Bad throw. Bredesen's had a lot of low snaps. Have you guys also noticed that? I feel like Bredesen, since moving over to center, I mean, obviously he doesn't want to be playing center. Also, he probably should have went through his reads here and thrown this thing to Waller. Waller's sitting wide open there. But just a bad throw out to the flat by Tyrod Taylor there. Giants are punting. Not his best effort. Oops. All right. Another single back formation. Bunch on the left side. Play action once again. Rolling left. Yeah, it's a good throw. Goes through his reads. Goes through his progressions. Let's see what they were here. Let's roll through it once again. Probably 1, 2, and then 3. Take the shallow if it's there. But safety breaks on that one. Corner's got that covered. So you know that you got this flat route wide open. So good throw. Wandale Robinson turns upfield, gets the first down. I like that the Giants were using all of these bootlegs, getting the pocket stretched out and creating more space for Tyrod Taylor to throw the football. If you guys have been listening to the podcast, you know I've been begging for Mike Kafka to call more of these play action and bootlegs to kind of pull the pocket away from the middle of the field and give the quarterback more time to throw. But he hasn't been doing it. He did it in this game, and I think it really benefited Tyrod Taylor. See, once again, you're pulling the pocket in one direction, creating a lot of space. And again, this is throwing with anticipation. Darren Waller is covered here, but you know that if you lead him, you can throw him open, and he does that. He knows that he's going to be breaking on this route. It's a really good throw there by Tyrod Taylor. That's the difference between taking a sack or gaining 5 yards and getting a first down here on a play like this because, I mean, Waller's pretty much covered. He looks covered, right? Like by the naked eye, he looks covered, but you know what the route is and you know what the coverage is. So you're going to throw with anticipation. You're going to throw him open and he's going to turn upfield and get you some yardage. So again, another pretty good play by Tyrod. And on this next play, once again, you're going to see another smart veteran quarterback move. So play action, pressure's there, nothing's open, throw it away. Just get rid of it. Don't take the hit. Another good throw there to Wandale Robinson. Really like Wandale's game. He's such a great option on the underneath routes. He's really taken over that Sterling Shepard role. Really has. See if there's anything that we can see from that play once again. Yeah, you've got double team here on Hyatt. Waller's covered in the flat. This is actually a really good play design as well. Credit to Mike Kafka, Brian Dable. It's a good play call. The safety, I know it's going to look like Slayton's breaking open or something. It's because the safety knows that it's too late. So, yeah, it's a good play design. Get your guy open and just dump it off to him. Yeah, Saquon just didn't have anywhere to go, guys. Sheesh. And here's a really great play by Tyrod as well. I know it's not a touchdown. It's nothing so spectacular. I think he wants to throw it here. His throwing lane is blocked, or maybe he sees 42 breaking on it. Not able to do it. Probably holds the ball a little longer than he wants to, but now it's about making a guy miss. And I really think that Tyrod Taylor has always just had a great amount of elusiveness in the pocket. Now, he might not be the fastest straight line runner. Daniel Jones has him beat there for sure. Daniel Jones is a fast runner. But in terms of elusiveness, navigating the pocket, navigating through pressure, creating an extended play, I think Tyrod Taylor is really good at that. He's a very elusive quarterback, and he's got a whole lot of experience in the NFL. Gene, this is very true. The offensive play calling in the red zone is offensive. Absolutely. The play calling in the red zone this year has been atrocious, guys. What happened? Because the Giants were so efficient in the red zone last year. I think they ranked a number 3 in red zone efficiency. There's another miss there by Tyrod. What I'm noticing is that he had a few misses in those short routes, was throwing a few of them behind his receivers, and that's what you're seeing again. I think it's an option route from Darren Waller. You want to lead him here, obviously, or put it on his chest, but not the best throw right there. Trips right side, shotgun. Yeah, quick flat route. Again, more atrocious play calling in the red zone. I didn't like that at all. God, Josh Allen has a freaking gun, doesn't he, guys? When he throws the ball, there's so much speed on his passes. Oh, all right. Went too far. I think that's the interception from Okereke. If you guys didn't see the Bobby Okereke film breakdown that we did, go check it out on the channel. Looked at every single play that he was involved in, every tackle for loss, interception, forced fumble, everything. Yeah, every time they run the ball, there's just immediately 2 guys in the backfield. Philip, I think this is a good comment. I agree and I disagree. I think that, Daniel Jones hasn't done himself any favors. I don't think that he's been playing at a very high level, but I do agree with you in the sense that the Giants offense, the play calling has been really poor this season, and it hasn't been reminiscent of last year's play calling. Last year, we did see a lot of play action. We did see more motion and more of these bootlegs. Daniel Jones, I don't even think has ran a fake bootleg run. He was really efficient with those last year. They haven't done it once this year, and they haven't moved the pocket for him. They haven't had any quarterback rollouts. It's just been drop back and scramble, and I don't like that. So they do need to run more play action passing. You guys know, if you've been listening, I've been banging the table, begging for more play action passing for weeks. And for some reason, the play calling has been really poor this year. So could Jones be a top 12 quarterback this season if you manage him the right way? I'm not totally convinced on that. I don't think he's been playing good football. I did the film breakdown a couple weeks ago, and I thought he played a very bad game against Seattle. But, overall, I do agree with you that the Giants offense isn't doing him many favors in the play calling department. And this is just a quick 3-step drop, throw, hitch route to the sideline. This is a good play. Every quarterback in the NFL should be able to make this play, so won't oversell it. But 3-step drop, fire. But I do like the fact that he made the throw under pressure. How did the pocket collapse that quickly? I'm not exactly sure. He had guys falling at his feet. But yeah, he's under pressure immediately. That low-key could have been called a hold. 2 guys right in his face, and he just stands in there, makes the throw, takes the hit. Fine. Good throw. Empty backfield. Let's see if they pull. Nope. Empty. Shotgun drop. And another great throw from Tyrod Taylor. These are throws that I think have been missing from the Giants offense for the past several weeks, guys. I mean, this is once again, Tyrod Taylor knows where he's going with his football before the play. It's a pre-snap read. You look at the coverage, you see single high safety, and you know that Slayton's running this fade. And for what it's worth, it's also possible that he saw the coverage and told Slayton to run the slot fade. That's also possible. But Slayton's really good at these slot fades. He gets upfield, he gets to the sideline, he hauls these in. But you're going to see just drop back, and the coverage look. You see the safeties out of position, put it on the sideline with some touch, and there's such great touch underneath this ball. It drops in there and gives Slayton plenty of time to get underneath it and make the catch. Slayton's been open on these plays all season long, guys. I could go through and find the film. Slayton's been constantly getting open. That's an open throw, right? You don't need to wait until they have yards of separation. When you look at this play, right now, does he have any separation? Does Darius Slayton have an ounce of separation? Is he open? By no means is Darius Slayton an open receiver here. But if you're an NFL quarterback, a veteran, you know that there is open space to throw him open into. And that's what Tyrod Taylor does on this play. It's what he did on the first deep shot to Slayton. He knew that there was a coverage look that he liked. If he threw Slayton open, he could get a big play here. He throws an accurate touch pass. Slayton gets underneath it, separates at the top of it, and makes a good catch on the sideline. Slayton's pumped, and he should be, because Slayton should be getting way more opportunities like this. He's constantly getting open on these go routes. They just need to start throwing them. It's a really good ball by Tyrod Taylor. And if Tyrod Taylor is still in the lineup against Washington this week, I guarantee you're going to see him and Slayton connect on another one of those plays. Also a good run by Saquon, power through. Oof, he ran into a freaking stone wall there. Eric Gray, I don't even remember Eric Gray getting a touch. It's probably like his only one from the game. I don't understand why they just haven't been giving the ball to Eric Gray. I really like him. I think he's a very talented player. I actually kind of like that play call. I just think it was poorly executed. All right, let's see. Trips right side, shotgun. Going through the reads. Pressure's here. Got to get rid of it. He does. He doesn't hold on to it too long. That's good coverage. I don't really think that there was much open for him. Let's check the offensive line. What broke down here? Out again, a stunt. It's always a stunt, right? You can never see the stunts on this Giants offensive line. I never see them coming. So once again, guys, Darius Slayton has been giving opposing defensive backs fits all season long. Look at that great inside release. Look at the top of this route to stem, draw the PI. That's a great route. And I hate when, a lot of fans have said that Darius Slayton is not a good route runner. He can't run routes. He can now. Maybe he couldn't as a rookie, but you can't tell me that this guy didn't improve year by year and isn't a good route runner now when he's running routes like that and drawing a defensive pass interference in the end zone. That was a damn good freaking route, and he deserved a touchdown there. At least the team deserved a touchdown on this possession. It's a shame that they don't get them, but I also want to look at it from this perspective as well. Slayton, yes, great route, just broke that down. But also, let's take a look at this from the offensive line. This angle, I really like this because look at just feeling where the pressure might be coming, drifting, buying time, extending the play. You know Evan Neal's getting beat, but you're not just tucking the ball and running, nothing like that. You're just buying yourself a little extra time, sliding into the open space, and throwing a pretty accurate ball that would have been a touchdown if not for the pass interference. So I also like what Tyrod did there. Now, that right there, you just saw him killed the pass play into a run. Obviously, a massive mistake here by Tyrod Taylor. You can't run the football in this situation. You have to throw the ball. I really wish that the Giants wouldn't have lined up in this single back 12 personnel formation on the goal line. I just think that they should have gone into a pistol or a shotgun. But yeah, you can't throw the ball in the situation. The Giants should have ran it. Stupid play by Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, he gets chewed out by Brian Dable. We talked about that. This was his big mistake. He thought that he would have enough time to spike it and run another play. Bills did a good job laying on top of Saquon Barkley and making sure that that wasn't possible. I mean, look at that. He's swamped. So that's a frustrating one for sure. Again, it's a poor play by Tyrod Taylor. It's a really poor decision, and it cost the team points, and you can't do that. But overall, I am still impressed with Tyrod Taylor's game. All right, another play action, a good throw out here. I like the way he kind of flicked that over the defender, just kind of tossed it up and out. You guys can't tell me that Tyrod doesn't look like a veteran quarterback. He looks like a quarterback with plenty of experience back there. He just looks calm, comfortable, and poised and not bothered by the constant pressure and the bad offensive line play. He really looks like he doesn't give an F, and I think that's important. He just looks calm and collected, and I think that's huge. And Schemo says this is exactly what Daniel needs to see. Sometimes seeing someone do something good makes you better. And I agree with you because I think that Daniel Jones has kind of hit a slump here, hasn't been seeing the field too well, but Daniel Jones with this injury now has a few weeks to kind of just sit, relax, and take things in, kind of reflect on what he's done wrong, where he can improve, what he's been doing well, and build on it. And I think that the next week, I mean, the past week that he had recovering, and if he has another week or two to recover, it's possible that he just kind of reflects, takes that mental hiatus, kind of relaxes, doesn't have to worry about getting hit all the time. Because I think what we saw from him, he just became very trigger happy, very panicky in the pocket, got happy feet because of all the offensive line inconsistencies, and it really affected his game. But having the next couple of days, especially added into last week, if they just let Daniel Jones sit and chill, I think maybe he can return to the lineup and play a lot better football just after having a break and taking some time to regroup. But right now, it's been pretty bad for Daniel Jones. It's been a struggle for him. But I do agree with you in the sense that I think he can watch this film, take some good takeaways from what Tyrod did, learn from some of the things Tyrod did, see how the offense is kind of moving without him in it, and then get himself back in there with more mental clarity and hopefully play some better football. All right, next play, another play action drop, and a really good job to step up through the pocket and a nice run there. Very nice run. A little bit of swagger at the end, put the ball around his back and then threw it to the ref. Like I said, guys, I like the way Tyrod is just cool, calm, and collected. He's very confident. A lot of fans have been pointing out Daniel Jones's confidence hasn't been the best this season, and I think that Tyrod's is just a confident quarterback, and that's something to give him credit for. Here's a good run by Saquon. It's that zone running. Yeah, I think that this was more of a throwaway than anything. They did this play earlier, 3-step drop and throw. And I think Tyrod took the 3-step drop and threw, wanted that route, but noticed, oh, it's not open. I'm throwing it out of bounds. And I think that was a good decision. That could have been a pick six if he threw that thing. They like to roll Tyrod to the left is something that I noticed. Here he probably takes an unnecessary hit, should have thrown the ball away. I mean, not much of a hit. I think he did a really good job protecting his body. Probably should have thrown the ball away, though. I think he lost maybe a yard, but I'm not sure. Yeah, nobody's open, though. Does a good job. He might have gained the yard there, actually. Empty backfield. They've done that a few times in this game. And here's another throw on brief glance, first look, doesn't look like much, but I do just want to point something out here. And again, it just ties into my narrative that Tyrod Taylor is a veteran, experienced quarterback. So this ball is thrown towards his inside shoulder, Wan'Dale Robinson's inside shoulder, which causes him to lead into it and find some extra space upfield. That's throwing somebody open. You could have thrown it to the outside shoulder, then he's making a contested catch. Could have put it right on his chest, then he's making a catch and he's getting tackled. Or you could throw it here, let him run into it and gain some extra yardage upfield. Thought that was a pretty good throw by Tyrod. And again, he's just a veteran. He does things like that. They're low-key, minimal difference on first glance, but they make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. So, and this is one of the sacks from the game. Tyrod Taylor dropped the ball. Unfortunate play here. A mistake probably from being rusty and not playing football in a while. Just ran into Saquon. I think he had his eyes too far downfield there. Wasn't necessarily paying attention to what was in front of him. So a mistake there from Tyrod Taylor for sure. All right, another drop back to pass. One thing that I've noticed on this drive, they really went away from the play action passing game. A few just straight dropbacks, shotgun, just throw it back to the quarterback and let him work. And I think that, the defense really stopped respecting the run here and just dropped back in the coverage and played against it and probably caused a few of the issues here. And now the Giants are punting. I think that Mike Kafka's play calling has been super inconsistent. I'd like to see more play action. They were running it earlier in this game. They stopped on that drive, and it's no coincidence that drive ended up in a punt, in my opinion. Yep, easy touchdown. That's good play calling in the red zone, guys, if we've ever seen it. Wish that we could see it more with the Giants. I believe this is the Saquon drive now, yeah. Hand off to Saquon, huge hole, and he explodes through it. Really good run there. Yeah, I want to watch this one again. I just want to see how the offensive line worked here. It's a really nice trap play. Really well executed. This is easily the best run blocking we've seen in this game, and that was a great key block by Evan Neal, no less. So good stuff to really seal that defender. Another big Saquon run. I want to watch it from this angle. I think they ran another trap. Let's see. Trap is when you have a free rusher come through and a pulling blocker takes him out. Yep, another trap. Free rushers. And that's a tight hole. Saquon squeezes through it, makes a man miss, and now you're off to the races. That's Saquon Barkley at his finest. But it's also a really well-blocked play. That was a good execution there. Found some success with those trap plays. See if they keep implementing them into the game plan. Who is this? Is this McKethan? Just got bullied there, man. McKethan's been struggling. It's unfortunate. All right, Tyrod. Again, no play action here. They got rid of the play action passing for whatever reason I don't understand. But he does do a really good job there. Great pocket presence to step up, find the open space, and run forward. Oh, he's got plenty of time. He's got plenty of time. Pocket breaks down, find the open space. It's here, and you see the lane. Take it, rush through. Well done by Tyrod Taylor. Saquon Barkley. Good run there as well. Hyatt in motion. Running it once again. They seem to get afraid of throwing the football on first and second down when they're in the red zone. It's like they only like to throw the ball when it's third down and they have to. I don't understand. Again, I've been very critical of Mike Kafka this year. I'm going to continue to be because he's been very poor. But here's another good play. Now you got play action, and they're trying to hit this route to Slayton. I mean, you can maybe try and throw a jump ball there. Not really. Slayton peels off of it. You do the right thing. You throw the ball away. Well done. Live to see another play. That's veteran quarterback experience there from Tyrod Taylor. Just throw the ball away. Dable's unhappy because they finally ran the ball on third down or threw the ball on third down and they didn't convert. Maybe we should have called a passing play on first down. It's not illegal. We're allowed to do it. Promise. Don't understand the play calling. I really don't. Like, I think it was better in this game, but it's like every time they're in the red zone, they just don't want to throw the ball. They run it, and then throw it. But they don't throw it, run it. I think you're better off that way, but what do I know? All right, there you go. Nice play action on first down. Giants have to go quick here, getting towards the end of the game. So, yeah, quick flick out. Oh my God, ran into a wall there. Oof. Also, what's been going on with Isaiah Hodgins? I feel like he's been absent. Hasn't been around much. And here you go. This is also a really good throw. Quick drop. And once again here, I want to point out how Tyrod throws it inside shoulder, leads him away from contact, right? You see he throws this, and look, it's in the open pocket. This ball is behind him. It's picked, but he does a good job at leading him forward and throwing him open. I think that's a good throw as well. Again, I'm not trying to go crazy about it. It's nothing spectacular. I'm just pointing out he's a veteran quarterback. So these little minimal differences that you might see younger quarterbacks make mistakes on, Tyrod's got them figured out. And I think that's something worth pointing out and something worth appreciating in his game. Again, there, leads him upfield, good throw. Goes through his progressions well, guys. I really like that part about Tyrod's game. Now, here's a play. I think some Giants fans weren't crazy about this. I like this because I think that, this is what you're missing from the offense normally. Plays like this, sure, this could have been an interception. You could argue maybe this is a turnover-worthy play. I don't think so because I think he threw it accurately enough. But, you're beat here. You know that the pressure's coming. Tyrod senses that. He steps up. He probably wishes that he ran up and then really launched this thing. You've got the double coverage here, but what you're looking to do here is keep defenses honest. You take this deep shot, you throw it down to Hyatt, you give the rookie a chance to make a play. If he makes it, amazing. Now you're in scoring position. You're in position to win this freaking football game. You love that. You can't get this over to Saquon. I know you guys might be like, oh, Saquon's wide open. This is a shot play. They're just sending everybody deep, and they're trying to set up enough pass protection to throw it deep. They didn't set up enough pass protection. It blew up. Had they had enough play action or enough pass protection, yes, this ball would have went to Saquon. He didn't have time for that. But what he does do here is he keeps the defense honest. He throws this thing deep to Jalen Hyatt. You know that Hyatt's got all the speed. He can make this play. He doesn't here. The ball comes up short. But now the defense has to respect the fact that Tyrod Taylor is going to gun it if he has a look that he likes. And the defense has to play a little bit further back, and they can't bite down on all those passes. They have to play with two safeties. They have to have some safety help over top, and they can't just play down. And that's what the Giants – it's been a problem for them this season. They've had a lot of games where the defense is just playing up on it. They're not respecting the deep shots because they're not taking them. Daniel Jones hasn't been taking them. So now when you've got Tyrod Taylor in the lineup and he's taking these deep shots, the defense has to respect it. So you make a throw like that. I know it wasn't pretty. It could have been intercepted, and this is the fourth quarter. But you do that to keep the defense honest. And I think that was exactly the right play here. And I think it shows up on this very next play. The defense has to kind of play back here. Once again, you've got the defense. This is a good play here by Tyrod, I think. I know this ball is a little bit underthrown. It gets broken up. I think you're asking a lot of Darius Slayton to make this catch. He's got somebody draped all over him. But again, I just love the fact that Tyrod Taylor gives him a freaking chance. At least you give your receiver a chance to make a play. How many times do we see receivers one-on-one coverage like this not get the ball in the Giants offense? At least Tyrod Taylor, he steps up. It's not the cleanest throw, not the best, but it's a catchable ball. It would take a spectacular catch that doesn't get made, but it's a good throw, and you're giving your guy a chance. Do you like that this is the play call on third down? Do you like that this is where the ball goes on third down? No. You wish you had some more shallow routes here, somebody breaking open, right? Maybe this throw breaks open. That almost looks like I'm not even going to say it almost looks like Wanda Robinson just tackled in the middle of the field. Am I the only one who saw that? That should have been a freaking holding, without a doubt. That had to have been after 5 yards. That's like 6 yards down the field. That should have been a first down right there because that should have been a holding. But either way, I like the shot here. I like that Tyrod Taylor stepped up, took a shot. Probably could have set his feet better, but there's not a lot of room to work with on the sideline there. And it was a good throw, and he gave his player a chance to make a play. And I think that's something that you do have to respect here. I think this is fourth down. This should have been a penalty. I can't believe that the refs didn't see this. This is glaringly obvious. But again, I like that Tyrod took a shot, and he gave his player a chance to make a play. It didn't get made, but it was a good shot. Right here, James Hollister. Daniel Jones not seeing the shots, or he is but doesn't take it. I think it's a little bit of both. Sometimes he's too afraid to turn the ball over, doesn't want to get super aggressive, so he just checks it down, plays it conservatively, or holds onto the ball, which leads to taking sacks or minimal gains on the ground. And also, I think sometimes he doesn't see them. We know that the play against Seattle, Wan'Dale Robinson wide open 30 yards downfield doing jumping jacks. Daniel Jones never saw him. So it happens. Sometimes he misses it. He doesn't see it. Other times, I think it's just he doesn't like to take it because he doesn't want to be too aggressive. Gene, I think that you can make the argument. The first deep shot went to Hyatt. The second one went to Slayton. They both had their opportunities. That was a scramble drill, though. The reason that it went to Slayton, he ran one route, and then he turned upfield to give Tyrod a second option. He ran his second route. So that one went to Hyatt. It wasn't a scheme, or it went up to Slayton. It wasn't necessarily a schemed up route for Slayton. Slayton was running a secondary route here. So it's not like the Giants decided we're going to take a deep shot to Darius Slayton on this play. I think that they were just trying to set up shots in general. You see, you had Hyatt in motion. Nope, sorry, wrong play. You got Hyatt on the outside as well. Wow, I must have really skipped backwards here for some reason. My bad, guys. I got this. I'll fix it here. Hold on. All right. So you've got Hyatt at the top of the screen as well. And look, they're trying to set up a shot for Hyatt too, but it's bracketed. You've got the double coverage here. So Slayton's really running an out route, but he notices the play is broken down and the out's not going to be open. So let's turn this thing upfield and run this up to an out and up. And again, he gave him a chance. What more can you ask for? Tyrod gave his guy a chance, and I like that. I do like that. Hyatt is a Biletnikoff winner. Hyatt is a tremendously special talent. He's going to get his opportunities to make plays, and they gave him one just to play prior. They did. All right, so this is now Tyrod's operating in the 2-minute drill. So what you want to do is go through your progressions as quickly as possible. So you saw him look to the middle of the field, saw him look around here, nothing's open. Just dump it out into the flat because you know that it's open. Take the quick, easy routes, get out of bounds. That's a good play. Tyrod Taylor just moving with efficiency here. Next play. All right, reading through, see the guy open, you give it to him. Again, leading him so that he can fall forward. Good throw here. 2-minute drill. You just keep it moving. Pass protection holds up here. Not really. It didn't. It did not hold up. There's just so much pressure on the field when you're playing quarterback for the Giants. It's crazy. Quick drop. This is a high-low read. What you're doing here is you're reading the window here on the slant route. If this guy drops down and takes away this flat, you throw it behind. You take the in front or the behind here. Now this linebacker is right in the way of Jalen Hyatt, so dump it off to the flat. Let Saquon Barkley get out of bounds. But had this linebacker had shot down on this, you've got this slant route and you can take this all the way upfield. So it's a good quick read. I like when the Giants run these 2-man quick route concepts. They're efficient, especially in these 2-minute drills. And when you got a veteran quarterback like Tyrod Taylor, he can read that, make a good throw. Cameron Simpson, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Really try and give you guys as much knowledge and as much of a breakdown as I possibly can here. Want to do these every week. I really like doing them. I like looking at the film. Once again, just a quick flat route out to Darren Waller. You're moving in this 2-minute drill, so you got to get the ball out of your hands quick. So once again, the Giants call a quick read. You see him, he's reading the field. What's the coverage looking like? Okay, they're backpedaling, they're dropping back. I know that I'm not getting any of these over routes. Quickly throwing this thing out to the flat so that Waller can get out of bounds. Again, veteran quarterback, that's experienced football. Make a quick route, quick read, and make a quick throw in the 2-minute drill. So, all right, next play. Once again, shotgun. So this is an alert. This is called an alert route, right? This hitch route out to Hyatt here at the top of your screen. He's just going to run this hitch to the sticks. It's actually called sticks. Like this is what they call that. But you can see they're overloading the right side of the line with a blitz. Tyrod Taylor recognizes that. So he just gets the ball and immediately turns to throw, knows that he's got his alert, his just in case I am under pressure, I need to throw this thing, I'm throwing it here. He knew that the pressure was coming. So quick snap, throw the ball, and throw it to his outside shoulder so it's away from the contact. There you go. So quick throw. Smart, savvy veteran. Again, another quick one. When you're in these situations, these 2-minute drills, that's all that's there for you. The defense is not going to get beat over top. They might be aggressive here and there, but you're really not going to find those deep shot opportunities. So this is a tight window. This safety is breaking down. You got to put this thing right on the chest. He does that. It's a really good throw. And that's what Darren Waller is here for, to make dirty plays like this as well as the big plays that we want to see him make. Darren Waller is a great receiver with great hands. You want to see him get those opportunities to just sit down in a zone and get the ball in his chest. It's mismanagement with Darren Waller this season. They haven't been using him properly. Again, one of these quick reads. You could take either out. Good route concept there. But again, they're just running these 2-man route concepts that are just going to give Tyrod Taylor a quick option in these 2-minute drills. This is all the play calls are just going to be short underneath. Catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw. And you just march your way down the field, chip away little by little. You get yourself into the red zone. You hope to make a shot play once you're there. And that's what the Giants are going to try to do here. Again, really good job to navigate the pressure, get out of the pocket. And he actually completes a pass here. You would think that he would just throw this thing out of bounds. He does find the open man, which I think is pretty impressive on this rep in particular. Wasn't necessarily ineffective. I don't know if they gained any yardage there. At least got the ball out to the sideline quick. Next play. Yep, pressure comes in once again. This is that 4th down. Hell of a catch by Jalen Hyatt here. I mean, this is Hyatt is a freaking bullet and a cough winner. That's on display here. Everybody said Hyatt is just a streak guy. He's just your go guy, your go route, and he's not going to make contested catches. He's not going to run routes. He runs a good route here, and he makes a great contested catch. Tyrod is going through his progressions, doesn't see what he's looking for, feels the pressure, gets from reads 1, 2, 3. This is probably his fourth read because you probably go through all trips first. When you got trips on the left side like this, you're probably reading them outside to inside, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Yep, you got outside to inside, so 1, 2, 3, or you might be going. No, yeah, so you're not. This is Breda. I didn't realize it was Matt Breda, so you're not going to read it to Breda. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your alert route here, which is Darren Waller. It's covered, so you know that's not open. So then you take this over route. It's also covered, so then you have to come backside. So this is read 3, went through his progressions, and throws a strike, and there you go. That is a great play by Tyrod Taylor in the clutch, fourth quarter, fourth down, get through 2 reads, get to your third read, and also check out the moves there in the pocket, the quick feet to make sure that he doesn't get pressured and makes a good play with the football. I swear I tried to rewind that. I don't know why it went forward. Bear with me. So here you go. Pressure breaks down, left tackle didn't hold up, okay, but look at the base, and look at the eyes staying downfield, navigating, get skinny in this pocket because you know you don't have much space, throw from a weird platform. Look at that, he's on 1 foot, he's getting hit as he's throwing. Yeah, the ball comes out high, but I mean, that's pocket presence, guys. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the New York Giants need to see on a consistent basis is that level of pocket presence. Yeah, the pocket's collapsing. Navigate through it. Step up. Make yourself skinny so you have more room to throw and make a good throw like that. That's a great play by Tyrod Taylor on 4th down and a hell of a catch from Jalen Hyatt. All right, next play here. So now you got 2 extra guys in the backfield pass protecting because you know that this pass rush is coming. So you only got 3 routes out there, and they've got 7 in coverage. So you don't have many options here if you're Tyrod Taylor. You're either going to force this thing in the coverage, or you're going to have to step up and try and make a play by running. That's what he does. Gets himself to the sideline. Really well done to get to the sideline and stop the clock. But yeah, this is coverage. This isn't Tyrod Taylor didn't know where to go with the football. There's nothing open. He recognized that immediately. Breaks a tackle too, and very elusive. Tyrod Taylor just seems like he's tough to tackle. I feel like he's constantly breaking tackles on this film. All right, next play. I think this is a pass interference. It is. Yep, well done. This is where Giants fans have been begging for Darren Waller to get his targets, right? And this is a really, really well done play. I mean, you've got all this area to throw this ball. If he's not held here, it's an easy touchdown, but he's held. And yeah, I mean, Tyrod Taylor recognized it. He knew that was the right place to go with the football. And then here's the play heard around the world, right? Because you've got good play action. I like this play call. I like this play design. Initially, I was like, I don't like this play call. You're better off doing the tush push. You're better off handing it to Saquon. I don't know. I think that the run stuffing has been so good in this game. You don't want to call a run play here, not on the 1 yard line. You learned that mistake at the end of the first half. You wish that this backside blocker or this backside pass rusher was blocked so that you had more time. Maybe you could roll out and just run it in if you're Tyrod or extend the play, but you just don't have enough time. It's an overload blitz. They're blitzing more than you're blocking, so you got to get rid of the football. Seems like a miscommunication here as well, so they didn't even pick up this pass rusher. But this is really the look that you want. You know, you've got Darren Waller here. You want to give him a shot to make this play. Maybe you want him to run a corner route here instead. I probably do. I probably say Tyrod or I say Waller instead of going to the back of the end zone. Let's go to the back pylon and let's give him some time to get underneath this thing. Throw it to the pylon. It can be a contested catch. It could be something that he just runs right underneath. But regardless, at the end of the day, that's a pass interference 9 times out of 10. This is the one time that they don't call it, but they should have called it. That should have been pass interference. It's clear as day to me. It's a good release off the line of scrimmage, and that's holding. Like, he is holding him right there. He is still holding him. He's progressing up the field. The ball is thrown. His arm is over his arm. This is pass interference. He's holding his second hand down. You want to get 2 hands on the football. You can't when your other hand is being held down. So, boom. Falls incomplete. That was absolutely unequivocally pass interference, and it's a shame that they didn't call it because the New York Giants should have won this football game. But yeah, that's pretty much the film breakdown, guys. Like I said, I'm not hailing Tyrod Taylor is the second coming. I'm not saying that he's the next Geno Smith. I'm not saying anything like that. All my point here with this film showing you this was to say Tyrod Taylor is a cool, calm, confident quarterback with veteran experience, and it shows up on the film. You can see how relaxed he is, how confident he is in the pocket, and how easy it is for him to navigate pressure. I think that a lot of these pressure plays that you saw from him where he got the ball out of his hands, we see a lot of quarterbacks around the NFL. We see Daniel Jones not get the ball out of their hands, take sacks, take hits, throw errant passes because of the pressure. Tyrod Taylor is just older. Like, that's really what it comes down to. He's just more suited to play in this environment because he's been in the NFL for much longer. He doesn't turn the ball over. He does a great job at mitigating pressure, navigating his way through the pocket, and reading the field, going through progressions. Read 1, 2, 3, 4, right? He can do that. And it's very rare that you see quarterbacks who haven't started a football game in 3 years step into a game and do this. So I know that the Giants didn't score any points on offense. They didn't get a touchdown. They lost this game. Yes, Tyrod Taylor is partially to blame for this loss, but he played a good football game, and I really am impressed with the way he played. I think that he deserves more time to play. If Daniel Jones is still injured, you don't rush him out there with a neck injury. You give Tyrod Taylor another week to start, and I think that he can do some great things for this team. Very impressed with him. I think the Giants are very lucky to have a backup quarterback that's as good as Tyrod Taylor, and I'm excited by it, and I think that it was a really good time to look at the film and just see that he did have a good performance and he made some really good throws out there, and hope that we can all just appreciate the performance that Tyrod Taylor turned in without making too big of a quarterback controversy. But I've been talking for an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and invite on Allie, and she's going to join me to talk about the Washington Commanders upcoming in this week. It's going to be an interesting matchup. But yeah, sending the link over to Allie now, and she'll be joining us shortly. But guys, if you did enjoy the film breakdown, it's not easy to sit here and talk for an hour straight about film. Leave a like, please. Make sure to leave a like and show a little bit of appreciation for me. I appreciate all of you coming out and watching the live stream. I know a lot of you were sitting in here watching the whole thing, and I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you for tuning in as always. But don't leave yet. We still got 20 minutes here to talk about Giants versus Commanders this upcoming Sunday afternoon. Sarkhan, you blame the coach and you blame Kafka. I don't blame Dable necessarily as much. I think he deserves blame. I think Daniel Jones deserves blame, for a lot of the bad plays this season. But in this game in particular, I would say Kafka overall probably screwed us up. But okay, here we go. Allie is here. Allie, how are you doing today?
I am good. Feels good to be talking Giants with you again. And that was also a very good breakdown. So everybody give him a thumbs up in the chat just so he feels appreciated. How are you feeling today? I feel like no one ever asked you that question.
I am doing A-okay. You said that you're excited to be talking Giants football. You're a better person than I am. I'm not excited to be talking about the Giants necessarily, but I'm happy to do it.
Yes. Actually, I feel like a little more excited to talk about the Commanders, which actually says a lot about our season.
Yes, it does. Cameron wants an apology to Tyrod Taylor from you right now. I think that it is in order. You definitely do owe Tyrod an apology.
Okay, I definitely do owe Tyrod an apology. In my defense, I haven't seen Tyrod Taylor ball out as a Giant. My experience with him, as we know, last season he threw the interception, got a concussion, wasn't a fan of it, went to training camp, saw him do nothing but throw ugly balls. So I was not a fan of watching Tyrod Taylor. But then, he gave me the only Jalen Hyatt touchdown so far in the preseason. He balled out against the Bills. So I have nothing bad to say about Tyrod Taylor, and I won't mind watching more of Tyrod Taylor. So there's my apology.
There you go. I'm eager to watch more Tyrod Taylor. I was really impressed with the way he played. I thought that we were finally watching Giants football where the offense was moving the ball efficiently, and I was
Yeah.
happy about that. So I'd like to continue to see efficient football on offense. And I'm hoping that Tyrod Taylor does get a chance to start this weekend.
Mhm.
Listen, I want Daniel Jones to be healthy, but I don't want to rush him back, and I want to watch Tyrod Taylor play football again. So I'm hoping that Tyrod is going to be starting. this upcoming weekend. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you want to see Daniel Jones, power through? If he's cleared for contact, you want to see him go out there and play? Or are you kind of also in the same vein where you just want Daniel Jones to rest up, get healthy, and see a little bit more of Tyrod Taylor?
I don't want Daniel Jones to play. I feel like maybe he wants to, there's, like, narrative that he owns the Commanders, but I feel like neck injuries are pretty serious. Offensive line, I don't really know if they'll be able to protect him the way that he needs to be protected. As you said, a lot of his sacks are caused by him, his own decision making. So honestly, I just want to see more Tyrod Taylor. I think the Commanders, oh, I said it like that. The Commanders, they have a weak secondary. So I feel like Tyrod Taylor would be the better quarterback to go with in that situation.
Yep, I'd agree with you on that front.
Mhm,
So I'm looking forward to seeing Tyrod. I think that he is going to get the start. I think the Giants are going to play cautious with Daniel Jones and his injury.
mhm,
But let's talk about this upcoming game with the Washington Commanders. I want to talk about the backfield that they have because they have three really talented running backs. Brian Robinson obviously leads the way as their workhorse back, but they also have a
mhm.
nice little scat back in Antonio Gibson. He was supposed to be the starter a little while ago. He didn't catch on, but now it seems like they're actually maybe leaning more towards Gibson recently. Seems like he's been
I think so.
getting yeah, he's been getting. Last week they had Brian Robinson a lot more involved in the passing game, and they were giving some handoffs to Antonio Gibson. So
Mhm,
maybe they're kind of toying with the idea of Gibson should get more opportunities to rush. Maybe they wore
mhm,
down the tires, tread on Brian Robinson a little bit too much, and they have a third running back in that backfield, a young guy, Chris Rodriguez, rookie. Nobody's talking about him. He finally got a little bit of playing time. He was out for the last few weeks with an illness, but he was healthy, played. I think he got 10 or 12% of snaps. And they're expecting that that's going to continue to increase because I think they look at him as the long-term option on that running back. So a lot of good runners in that backfield in Washington. Obviously, like I said, Brian Robinson leads the charge, but other guys to keep an eye on as well. But how are you feeling about our run defense trying to hold up against that rushing attack?
Oh, I love Brian Robinson Jr. I was talking about him even before the season started. I don't think they're gonna stop him, to be honest. I honestly didn't really know too much about the rookie, so that was very interesting. But B-Rob has ran on us in the past. I think in total, the past 2 games, he had, like, 180 yards. He's known to kill us. I started Brian Robinson Jr. in fantasy. Both of those games, was fine with it. He did what he was supposed to do. I'm doing it confidently again. We've struggled against running backs since week 1. I feel like we haven't been able to stop one running back. We didn't stop Pollard, we didn't stop James Conner, we didn't stop Christian McCaffrey or Elijah Mitchell. We saw Kenneth Walker run all over us, James Cook was running all over us, so I think they're just going to attack us in the run game once again.
Yeah, I mean that's the game plan when you're playing the New York Giants. You run the ball. Giants have not had any answers for rushing attacks this entire season. Chris Rodriguez actually did not participate in practice today. They said it was for a personal reason, though, so he's not injured. So I don't know
Mm.
why he's been kind of out of the lineup recently. But just to give you some context on him, averaged 6.2 yards per carry in college. Only had 4 rushes this past week, but the 4 rushes really made an impression on the Commanders fan base. And he's a guy that they're all really excited about for the future. So we'll see if he does get more playing time this upcoming week and going forward. But as you
That'll be
mentioned,
interesting.
Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson's been really involved in their screen game as well. They've been throwing out
Mm,
the ball to him frequently. He's not just their handoff guy. He makes a lot of plays as a receiver out of the
mhm.
backfield as well. So, Bobby Okereke has been great. Xavier McKinney's also been pretty decent this season. I think he's been a little bit up and down. But how do you feel about the Giants defenders matching up with some of these runners out of the backfield as receivers?
Um, you know what? I'm pretty confident, honestly. I think I have a little more, I guess, nervousness around their actual wide receivers. So they have Scary Terry lined up back there. I don't really know if Deontay Banks is going to be on him or if it's going to be Adoree Jackson. I would kind of like it to be Deontay Banks, because I have absolutely no faith in Adoree Jackson. He has literally been beat by every single receiver, and I said this last week during the Bills, almost every single big Stephon Diggs reception happened on whatever side Adoree Jackson was on. Wherever Adoree Jackson was supposed to be in coverage, Stephon Diggs had a big reception. So I think I'm kind of nervous just about them, but I'm curious as to what key matchup you are watching. I kind of have a sleeper in this game, but I wanna know what your opinion is.
Um, I don't really know if I've thought of a key matchup yet for this game. I think it's probably Bobby Okereke as a run defender versus Brian
Mm,
Robinson. I think Brian Robinson's their game wrecker. He's the guy that they're going
yes.
to run the offense through. And Bobby Okereke is who we run our defense through, and he's on fire right now. So I guess that's
Mm,
my key matchup. But that almost goes without saying. Like, you need Okereke to lead this defense, and Robinson needs to lead that offense. So that's a pretty obvious one. Outside of that, I mean, I want to see how the offensive line holds up versus a good Washington defensive front. Chase Young's been playing some good football
yes.
recently, and they have a bunch of great interior defensive linemen. But what's the matchup that's on your mind for this game?
Not necessarily a matchup. However, I think someone no one is talking about is Logan Thomas. Sam Howell loves throwing to Logan Thomas, and we are terrible at defending tight ends. So I do feel like Logan Thomas might be a problem for us, especially in the red zone. And again, Sam Howell loves throwing the ball to Logan Thomas. So I feel like all eyes might be on Curtis Samuel or Scary Terry or the run game. And I feel like Logan Thomas might kind of go ignored, but he has again over 100 yards this season already. He had a big game against Atlanta, and I feel like that momentum is only going to build up. So I feel like you have to keep your eyes on Logan Thomas and just watch. I feel like he's going to be a problem for us, just like Noah Fant was against Seattle. He had a big touchdown, and I feel like Logan Thomas might do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, tight ends have been the Giants' kryptonite for like my entire life. Not so much recently. I think you think back to that Minnesota Vikings playoff game. Xavier McKinney on the making the tackle of T.J. Hawkinson in the flat on fourth down. That's the game winner. I feel like that
Big.
put the tight end kryptonite to bed there, which was exciting. But we'll see.
But
Logan
then it
Thomas,
came
good
back.
player. Yeah, it's come back. It comes and goes. Do you think the Giants should target Jameis Winston in a potential trade? No, Eric, I don't. Shut up,
I feel
please.
bad for Jameis Winston, honestly, but no.
I don't think that would be a good idea, Eric. Thanks for the suggestion. But who else are you looking at in this game, Allie? What's standing out to you with this upcoming matchup with the Commanders?
Um, like you said, the offensive front, I did an article on it, well, the offensive line, I did an article on it earlier. They have plays to stop the run game this season. It's something they stressed in the offseason. And I will throw this out there. I don't know how much you know about the Commanders offseason, but their offense actually had to work with the second defense a lot because the first defense was basically too hard for their first offense to work against. And I feel like everybody is, I think, giving Saquon Barkley a little too much credit, saying like, "Oh, this game is gonna be in Saquon's hands. Saquon's gonna run all over them. He is our key." And I don't think that's true. I really do think they're gonna stop Saquon Barkley. And even in your film breakdown, you saw the run blocking was terrible. And with their new formation that they're doing to stop the run, I don't feel like Saquon Barkley is really gonna get any lanes. So that's just something that I'm kind of scared to see. I think we need whoever our quarterback is to throw the ball a lot more. Um, but yeah, I don't think this is a game Saquon Barkley can win us, and I stand really firmly on that. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he has a really good game, but I don't feel like he is.
Yeah, I mean, against this Washington defensive front, it's not going to be easy to find yardage on the ground. Like you mentioned, that Cinco package, which to
Yeah,
elaborate on that, it's a five down lineman, I think one linebacker and five
yeah,
defensive backs package. So basically, you're taking one of the linebackers out of the equation and just dropping them off the field and putting another down lineman onto the field. It's kind of like a variation of the 5-2 formation where you would have five down linemen and two linebackers with four defensive backs, but instead you're taking one of those linebackers off the field, getting a little bit extra speed in the secondary, and just going with one linebacker and all five of those defensive linemen. It's not an easy
mm,
formation to run. It's a package that requires you to have a ton of depth on the defensive line, particularly on the interior. But Washington has that, so they can
yes.
run that, and they shut down opposing rushing offenses because of it. So it'll be interesting to see how the Giants counteract that, but it isn't a difficult formation and personnel package to counteract. The problem is that if you're not able to run on a team, you become one dimensional, you rely too much on the pass,
Mm,
and you're not going to be able to run against this five-man front that Washington has been deploying. So it's a tricky, slippery slope there for the Giants, but really they need to throw the football whenever they see that five-man front. They got to air the ball out and make some decisive passes and gain some
mm.
yardage through the air in order to win this game.
That is very true, and I agree, and I feel like they have to throw the ball, which is what I was excited to see against the Bills. I feel like we've seen such a terrible offense. They were not moving down the field. We weren't seeing them throw deep at all, which is what they're gonna have to do. They have a really weak secondary. A lot of teams have been beating them through the air. You saw what the Bears did to them. Justin Fields just had a field day throwing the ball, and the Commanders were a favorite in that game, and then him and DJ Moore just went absolutely nuts. And I feel like that's what we have to do. No, we don't have a DJ Moore, but I like our receivers. So I feel like they just have to put trust in them and they have to throw the ball and they have to let them make plays. Again, they have a weak secondary, so abuse it.
Yeah, and I think what happened in that Chicago game is they were expecting the Chicago Bears to be such a run first team because they usually are, and you don't
Mhm.
really think that they're going to trust in Justin Fields to drop back pass and decimate their secondary because Justin Fields going into that game was really struggling to throw the football. But that's kind of what the Washington's game plan is going to be going into this game as well. They're probably going to head into this thinking we just have to stop Saquon Barkley and we can win this game. So it's really going to rely on whoever's playing quarterback to win this game for the Giants or at least make plays for the Giants. I know a lot of Giants fans don't even want to see them win at this point, want to see them lose, crash for Caleb, um, dunk for Drake, whatever you want to
Mm.
say. But I think that when you look at the quarterback position in this game is crucial for the New York Giants, just going up against that five-man front. If you can't throw on this defense, you definitely can't run on it, and you're
Mm.
not going to have any dimension to your offense that's worth running. Best case scenario, the Giants throw the ball well, force Washington out of that five-man front, and then they can have a balanced attack and run the ball against a four-man front or a three-man front.
Well, moving on from our offense, I think we need to stress our defense a little bit against Sam Howell because we've seen our quarterback get sacked a lot, but Sam Howell is actually the most sacked quarterback in the league. His offensive line does a terrible job of protecting him, and we only have, what, 5 sacks on the season? So I think this is a game where I'm gonna be looking at Dexter Lawrence mainly. Nick Gates, a little revenge game for him against us, has allowed 4 sacks already. So I'm intrigued to see how these matchups are going to go, and I wanna see a Sexy Dexy sack dance because he doesn't have a sack this year, does he?
No, he doesn't have a sack, but he does lead the team in pressures. He's been constantly in the backfield, just hasn't finished a play with a sack. I'm sure it'll come soon. Um, but yeah, you're right. The pass rush has been pretty subpar. Azeez Ojulari probably not playing again this week. The
Mm,
Giants pass rush, it's got to start and end from the interior at this point. Yeah, we want to see Kayvon Thibodeau have another big performance, but it's easier said than done when
yeah, I
you
know.
have just one edge rusher out there making plays. Ideally, I would like to see the Giants. I think what they should do is move Leonard Williams out to the edge, and they should have him pass rush on the offensive tackle.
Mm,
But then you leave yourself vulnerable against the run up the middle. It's a double edged sword, but they got to figure out some way to put some
mm,
pressure on opposing offensive tackles. And I actually think that Leonard Williams at this point is their best option over guys like Boogie Basham. Is Jimenez even on the team right now? I don't think he is. Jihad Ward. These guys aren't good pass
mm,
rushers. They're just not. So
mm,
at least Leonard Williams, he can pass rush. He can bull rush through a tackle
mm.
and push the pocket. I would put him over the tackle and let him rush off the edge.
Well, this is the week to do it. This is a division rival. Honestly, I don't believe in tanking, and I hate when I see people say we shouldn't win another game this season, tank, get the good draft pick. I want to win games. I guess it's gonna sound like stupid when it comes out my mouth, but to be fair, I don't really care about where we pick. I feel like I want to see us win. I want to see them at least compete. I want to see them be competitive. If we're losing games on purpose, it's like, why am I going to sit here and watch these games? I want to see them be good. And I don't know. I feel like this is a game to do it. Again, Sam Howell, most sack quarterback, offensive line can't protect him. I feel like he is really underrated as a quarterback this season. I think he's like ninth in passing yards. He will throw. Sam Howell is not afraid to throw the ball. And I feel like that's something they also have to be aware of. And I feel like our defense has to kind of force Sam Howell to make a mistake. He hasn't really turned over the ball that much. However, since he does love to throw the ball, he's thrown I think 8 interceptions so far. There was 3 he threw in 3 or 4 in the Bills game. So I feel like that's gonna be our bread and butter. We need to force Sam Howell to kind of make a mistake, and I think that's where we can take a win. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a game of defense. Whoever wins this game is whoever's defense played better, because I feel like both offenses can be weak, even though the Commanders have a stronger offense, in my opinion. But it's gonna come down to who plays better defense.
Yeah, I think it could be a defensive grudge match, but at the same time, you know, that's the only way that the Giants can win a game is if it is a defensive grudge
Mm,
match because their offense is so bad. But if the offense continues to be really poor, I do think that the Commanders have the ability to put up a lot of points in a hurry, take advantage of a middling offense from the New York
mhm.
Giants, and that is reason to believe that it could get out of hand. It could be another one of those games like we saw against Seattle, like we saw against
Yeah.
San Francisco, where the Giants just can't do anything on offense, and they end up becoming a sinking ship because of that. In terms of the tanking, I think that's interesting. You say you want to win as many games as possible. I agree. I don't like to root for a loss, but at the same time, I do hit a point sometime during the season where I don't care anymore. If they win, great. I enjoy watching them win. But if they lose, okay, helps us get a higher pick.
Mm,
Honestly, I agree with you. I don't care where we pick most of the time, but if the Giants are looking for a quarterback, that's when you care
yeah,
where you're picking. When you're just talking
true.
about let's get the best receiver in the draft, let's get the best pass rusher in the draft. You don't tank for guys like that. You don't care where you're picking for guys like that. You can trade up a few picks, or you can take the next best guy on the board, and it's usually a marginal difference. But when you're talking about the quarterback prospects, it's different because trading up for a quarterback costs you an arm, a leg, and probably your left nut. So you have to try and lose as many games
That is
in
true.
order to get the best pick possible for a quarterback. So again, I'm not advocating for tanking, but if the Giants are considering going after a quarterback, then I think later in the season, if we're still losing games, we're not a good team. You got to start putting younger players in. They're not going to give you a better
Mhm.
chance to win, but you're going to develop them, and you're probably going to lose more games because of it. But they get more experience going into next season, something to build off of, and you end up with a higher draft pick. That's my strategy. But also, it's only week 7, so it's probably too soon to deploy that strategy.
Makes sense. I think we are looking for a quarterback, and I'm like the biggest Daniel Jones supporter there is. I really love Daniel Jones, and I hate to see him, I don't know, have this downfall that he's having. I feel like I haven't seen him do anything, and at this point, I am also looking for another quarterback just because I want to win. I love Daniel Jones, and I'll always be a Daniel Jones fan, and I want to see him succeed. But I love the Giants way more than I love Daniel Jones, and he is not putting us in a position in any way to win a game. Tyrod Taylor at least had us close. No, we weren't scoring touchdowns, but they were competent. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't throw any pick sixes. He didn't throw an interception on the goal line. So you know what? That helps us win. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of in a, not that I'm giving up on Daniel Jones, but we are looking for a quarterback. But again, I don't want to tank. So that leaves me in a very weird spot. It's like, okay, we lose, yay, quarterback. We win, yay, we win, but further away from a quarterback. So
Double-edged sword once again. Like I
yeah.
said, I'm at the point if the Giants lose, I'm like, okay. If the Giants win, I'm like, all right. That's really how I feel at this point. I want to root for them to win. I want to watch them make big plays. I mean, I was at the Miami game. I was cheering. Bobby Okereke interception. I'm hyped. Jason Pinnock interception. I'm hyped. I was getting excited. But it's really tough to get too excited when you watch the offense just get 0 points out of those turnovers. 3 turnovers forced. One of them went for 6, but then the other two.
Mm,
It's just pathetic watching this
awful.
offense play. Um, and I
Awful.
think that's kind of like the difference, though, when you look at Daniel Jones in week 5. Yeah, he had a decent performance against the Dolphins, but he didn't get those points. And you can say, Tyrod Taylor also didn't get those points. Tyrod Taylor got them onto the goal line, 2 mistakes. One's a bad call. They really should have won that game. But Daniel Jones hasn't been putting them in positions to win games. And I think there's a
Mhm.
lot to be said about that because the Giants really should have been in position to win that Miami Dolphins game. The Dolphins are the best team in the league, arguably. It's one of the best offenses in the history of the league. But with all those turnovers that they've committed, the Giants should have been scoring points off of those, and they should have been in that game, and they just never were from start to finish, which is bewildering. So we'll see,
Mhm.
man, who plays quarterback. If Daniel Jones plays and he doesn't keep them in the game, I do think eventually the conversation comes up: is it worth just handing the keys over to Tyrod Taylor?
I think it should be though. I don't think Daniel Jones should play this game. I feel like another big hit, and then what? He gets hurt again. This is now the second significant neck injury he's had. I feel like that's concerning. So I don't want him to feel like he has to rush back because, franchise quarterback, he just got paid, like I feel fine. I want to play. It's like, okay, can you take another hit? And I feel like that's the question. Can he? We don't want to see a potential career ending injury either.
Yeah.
Not saying that that could happen, but can't be protected. He clearly can't get out of the pressure. He clearly takes sacks when he's not really supposed to take the sack. So it's like, okay, you're one big hit away from, okay, you're officially done. Just take your time, make sure you're 100% healthy. I feel like this is 2021 all over again. I feel like it was the same freaking cycle where it's like, no, he's fine. He's not clear for contact yet. But yeah, limited participant in practice until boom, he gets shut down for the season because it's like, what's the point in letting him play?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying if let's say Jones doesn't play for the next 3 weeks and then he comes back in and the offense is still the same. Let's say that the offense does start scoring touchdowns for the next couple weeks, and while Daniel Jones is out, he comes back in and it's back to not like nothing burgers every single play. Then I think you have to have the conversation, right? You have to say, what if Daniel Jones just isn't putting the team in the best position to win? I
Mhm.
mean, if you keep putting him out there just because he's making 40 million, if you're Brian Dable, you're walking back all your promises to this team that the best men are
Yeah.
going to play, and you're not going to play players based on contracts. It almost feels like we keep having conversations about Daniel Jones and how he has to play because of his contract. But if Brian
Mhm.
Dable feels that way, Brian Dable is being disingenuous to his team and to his players. So
Mm.
if Daniel Jones gets back in that lineup and it's more of the same bullshit and inability to score, and they can't even get down to the 1 yard line, I think you just have to have the conversation at least. You have to at least consider making the change. But I think we're a couple weeks away from that, and we'll see what happens. But like I said, I'd like to see Tyrod Taylor get the start on Sunday, preserve Daniel
Me too.
Jones's health, give him more of an extended break. I think he could use the time off to regroup and
Mm.
regain his confidence. But we'll see. I'm excited. I want to see Tyrod Taylor continue to ball out and hopefully turn into Geno Smith.
I do too, and I don't know if it's I mean, not saying that it's because of Tyrod, but I do feel like the team as a whole, they were playing with a new confidence against the Bills. I feel like the weeks prior, it was just the same thing that the players didn't really look like they were playing with any fire besides, like, 1 or 2 bright spots sometimes. I feel like everything just looked meh. Like, they looked meh to me, that's, like, the best way to put it, but I feel like with the Bills, everyone seemed to be playing with more fire, I guess. Even the offensive line, they were still atrocious. But, I feel like they were trying, to be fair. I feel like Evan Neal didn't have a terrible game. It sucks that he got penalized for actually doing his job good for once when they threw that flag, but everyone's playing with new confidence. So I don't know, maybe it's a Tyrod Taylor effect, something new, like whatever, let's get into it. But I kind of want to see them go into that same energy because I will say the Commanders, they are playing with something that they feel like they have something to prove. Their coach is on the hot seat. If they don't make it into the playoffs, their coach is basically rumored that he could get fired if they don't win and if they don't go to the playoffs. And I feel like they do respond to their coach very well. And if you can expect anything from the Commanders, you're going to expect the team that is going to come to compete. So we can't play lazy. We can't play like we don't want to be on the field. So they need to be just as competitive as the Commanders are going to be. And honestly, I feel like Tyrod being there might help. I don't know. Maybe that's just
Yeah,
me.
and
Just an
for
observation.
what it's worth, I think Tyrod has plenty to play for. He's already been pigeonholed into he's a backup quarterback, nothing more, nothing less. I think if you're Tyrod Taylor, you want to go out there and prove that you're more than that. At one point he was a starter who went to a Pro Bowl and went to the playoffs with the Buffalo Bills. At one point he was considered a good quarterback. Injuries obviously derailed his career to an extent. He really did kind of metal out and become an average quarterback there. But we've seen that happen before. Quarterback becomes average, sits behind as a really good backup quarterback for a few years, comes out and becomes a starter and has a lot to prove and turns into a really good quarterback once again. So I think Tyrod has a lot to prove going into these games that he gets the starts for. He really could make a name for himself. And I'm not even saying steal Daniel Jones's job and become a
Yeah.
starter. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tyrod Taylor is a free agent at the end of the season. So he's going to want to play his way into a new payday. And if he continues to ball out, there might be a team that going into this offseason, similar to the situation with Kyler Murray. Maybe a quarterback is on injured reserve to start the season, and that team needs to sign a quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is probably their best option at that point to go out there and win them games if he proves to be a good player for the rest of the season. So he's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot of money to make if he plays well. And I think that he could earn himself a starting job somewhere in the NFL if he does continue to play well. So being a guy who's been kind of a fan of Tyrod Taylor since his days with the Ravens as Joe Flacco's backup quarterback, used to sub him in every time I play Madden. I'm rooting for Tyrod, man. I want to watch Tyrod Taylor win some games and get that payday at the end of the year or take a starting job somewhere. I think that he is just a guy who's sat patiently and worked really hard, and he really does deserve to get some flowers.
He does. He does. I will say there are teams that do need quarterbacks because I, for one, am sick and tired of watching a Desmond Ritter run Falcons offense. He is terrible, and I feel like Tyrod might be good on the Falcons, maybe. I feel like there are a lot of teams that are struggling in the quarterback position, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good point. I think that Tyrod would win some games with that Falcons team and be a really good
Mhm.
quarterback for them. They move the ball well, they run the ball really well. They've got a lot of talent out there, and I think that Tyrod could probably be a really good fit for the Falcons
Yeah.
depending on what their offseason
There's
looks like.
so much talent being wasted. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, like, you have a squad. You know what? I might be, uh I might be vouching for that at the end of the season. Tyrod Taylor, be a
Yeah.
Falcon, so
Yeah,
Drake London won't rot.
we'll see where the Falcons go in the draft, what they do.
We'll
But
see.
if they are not able to find the quarterback of the future, I think that there's no harm, no foul in going for a stopgap and Tyrod giving him a 1 year prove it deal, making him your starter, and seeing
Mm,
if he is Geno Smith.
Geno Smith effect.
Yeah, I think Geno Smith has changed the narrative and the conversation among all backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like let's just give them an opportunity and see what we have now because we've
Mhm.
seen it happen with Geno Smith. I think we've seen it happen in the past as well. I'm sure it's happened to other quarterbacks, but Geno Smith is just recency bias. He's the one that stands out. But
Yeah.
you gotta hope that Tyrod Taylor is that because even if you don't want to make Tyrod Taylor the quarterback of the future and he turns out to be Geno Smith, you gotta know that there's a lot of value to be had in trading a quarterback who plays that well.
Mhm.
So Giants can maybe even pull at least a third round pick out of Tyrod if he plays really well for the rest of the season. So there's a lot of Giants fans rooting for Tyrod to fail
Whoa!
because they want to watch Daniel Jones succeed. So they're hoping to see Tyrod fail. No matter what, they should be rooting to see Tyrod Taylor succeed
Mhm.
because he can boost some trade value as well for the team and really have a lot of positives.
Maybe the DJ stands might like that or not. Tyrod plays good. We get more draft picks. You should be excited about that.
Should
I'm
all be
also reading
excited,
here
yeah.
someone saying they're wishing for JJ McCarthy. I have another JJ McCarthy fan because I really like JJ McCarthy and he's getting a lot of hate because people are trying to say that he is not a good quarterback because he's I don't know, they're saying Michigan is overrated. They've had an easy schedule, whatever, fine. JJ McCarthy is actually a really good prospect in my eyes. So thank you, James, for putting some eyes on JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy is going to get a
Overrated.
lot of discussions once we get closer to draft season. All these quarterbacks will. I think they're going to get connected with the Giants unless Daniel Jones returns from the neck injury and just balls out, plays like second
Hope,
half Arizona week in week out. But we'll see. It all
I
remains to be
hope.
seen.
I'm hoping for it. Because again, I really love Daniel Jones and I feel like we've seen the flashes, and I've said this before, but it's like there comes a point where it's like, okay, you've been on this team for 5 years, though. Like, I can't keep using your flashes of brilliance as the reason why you deserve to be our franchise quarterback. It's like you need to be consistent in those flashes, and he just isn't. And I'm hoping that he will return and prove everybody wrong, and he'll ball out, and yeah, but that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's just always an excuse for Daniel Jones, but I'm sick
Yeah.
of it. I just want him to put up and shut up and ball out. I mean, I remember all off season long, everyone was in the comment section saying no more excuses for Daniel Jones. They got him the WR1, they improved the offensive line, and now all of a sudden there's every excuse in the book. Not enough playmakers, no WR1, no offensive line, bad play calling. When in the offseason, they're like, play calling is going to help him. There's just always excuses, and there's a common denominator from each of the last three head coaches and all of the firings. And it's Daniel Jones, so it's put up or shut up time. I'm not making excuses for him. I think that if he doesn't show
Mm.
significant signs of improvement by the end of the year, yes, the New York Giants need to draft a quarterback, but we'll see.
To be fair, I think we do have playmakers, I just feel like they're not being utilized. We
They're
have
not.
Darren Waller, and I'm tired of seeing, "Oh, Darren Waller is washed." I don't think Darren Waller is washed, I just feel like they're not using him, and then when it's like the rare time they do, it's like, yes, he's had some, like, brutal drops, like, whatever, that is on him, but Darren Waller is a beast. We've seen it all through preseason. We've seen it in his career with the Raiders. Darren Waller is literally our unofficial wide receiver one. And again, we have Darius Slayton. I don't know why people are acting like Darius Slayton is not a good wide receiver, that he is not a big playmaker, because he is. So the argument that Daniel Jones doesn't have playmakers is absurd to me, because we have them. Going into the offseason, that's what all the excitement was about. It's like we finally have an offense. We finally have people for him to throw the ball to. So to like basically take back that argument and make it into no, he doesn't have enough is like what? Because we've seen quarterbacks do more with less than what he has now. There's quarterbacks in the league that I feel like would love to have this receiving room, would love to have a Darren Waller, would love to have a Jalen Hyatt, but, like, we're not using them.
Yeah, I think that Darius Slayton should be a 1,000-yard receiver. I think you guys all remember me saying that in the offseason. He
Mhm,
should be a 1,000-yard receiver this year. It's a shame, though, he doesn't get those opportunities. Tyrod Taylor gave him those opportunities. He capitalized. At least you're taking shots and giving your guy a chance to make a play. I mean, it's not like Daniel Jones never has. We even saw last year, Jacksonville game, one-on-one. Daniel Jones takes the shot. He just hasn't been taking them this season. He's
mhm.
not seeing them. He's not confident enough to take them.
Yeah.
But as a quarterback, when your confidence is gone, it's really hard to find success in the NFL. So if he doesn't fix that confidence, and the confidence is really tough to fix, we see that a lot with quarterbacks. Once their confidence gets shaken, it's tough
Mhm.
to bounce back from. So we'll see what happens with Daniel Jones. We'll see what happens with the New York Giants. I'm ready to wrap the stream up because I have a splitting headache and I've been talking
Aw.
for almost 2 hours straight. So we're going to wrap this one. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Allie, any last thoughts or comments for the viewers before we wrap up?
No, but I will say, A, we don't believe in taking, so don't do that. What I will say, I'm gonna ask you, what is your score prediction? Because we didn't do that.
Score prediction. I'm gonna go 20-10 Washington. I think we get a touchdown. No, you know what? Graham Gano is gonna get at least 2 field goals. He's good for 2 a week, and I have him in fantasy starting this week. So I'm gonna say we get one
I
touchdown and two
demolished
field
you in
goals.
fantasy, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't even check it, but 13-20. I guess it'll be a one-score game finally. I think Tyrod Taylor throws for 200 yards, scores one touchdown, and the Giants lose by a touchdown to Washington.
I had 2017 Washington on top. I think Washington is going to beat us. I don't think we're going to win. 17 is a lot, though.
17 points is a lot for the New York Giants.
But hey, Graham Gano master class, defensive touchdown, maybe.
17 would be 2 touchdowns and one Graham Gano field goal. That's
Darren
not much
Waller
of a master
touchdown. I'm
class.
booking it. I'm booking it. Darren Waller. It's
Yeah,
happening this week. I've been saying it every week. I'm going to say it every week, and one week I'm going to be right. We saw them give him the targets last week, which to me is a good sign. Like, okay, they're giving him the targets. They're looking for him, and I feel like they're just going to continue to do that. So Darren Waller touchdown. I am going to bet on it once again. It's happening.
I hope it does. I hope Darius Slayton gets a touchdown because he deserves it. Dude's constantly wide open. I think honestly, maybe next week we'll see how this game goes and if there's anything interesting to break down. If not, next week I think what I'm gonna do is break down the film on Darius Slayton's season and just show you all how he's wide open on every single freaking play. And it's something that's not being talked about enough. But Slayton is always open, and we got to break it down and take a little closer look at it, see why he's not getting the ball. But anyway, guys, that wraps this one up. I need to go eat dinner or something. I think I forgot to do that. I had a late lunch, but no
Oh,
dinner. So that might be
you
the
should
reason
go
for the
do that.
headache. Yep.
So
But
you should go
anyway,
do that.
thank you all for tuning in for this very long live stream. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts on all the topics and on the film breakdown down below in the comments section. If you listen to any of our episodes on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. But without further ado, we will catch you all on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.